The flight that changed my life. The bustling halls of Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos hummed with activity as I clutched the surprise ticket in my hand. I was supposed to be on this flight with my husband, Emeka, heading to France for his business trip. It was my last effort to rekindle what we had lost. But just as I approached the boarding gate, my heart stopped. There he was, my husband, holding hands with another woman. My breath caught. My pulse pounded. I took a shaky step forward. Emeka. My voice rang through the crowd. He turned sharply, his eyes widening in shock before he quickly dropped the woman's hand. Annie? His voice was strained, his stance rigid. What are you doing here? I swallowed hard. I wanted to surprise you, I said, forcing a smile, willing myself to believe there was an explanation. I thought we could spend time together in Paris. His expression darkened. Instead of joy, I was met with irritation. This isn't a good time, Annie. It's a business trip, he snapped. Then, before I could react, he reached for my ticket and ripped it apart. Shock turned my limbs to lead. I watched helplessly as the pieces fluttered to the ground. And before you start making assumptions, she's just a colleague, he added hastily, eyes darting around as though embarrassed by my presence. Go home, Annie. I felt my throat tighten. I thought we were trying to fix things, I whispered. This was a mistake, he muttered, rubbing his temple. Then, without another word, he turned his back on me, grabbed the woman's hand, and walked off toward the departure gate. And just like that, my world crumbled. I sank onto a nearby bench, my suitcase beside me, tears burning my eyes. Then I heard a voice. Are you okay? I looked up, blinking away the blur of my tears, and saw him, a tall man dressed in an immaculate white captain's uniform. His deep brown eyes held warmth and concern. His name tag read Captain Ejiro Ogenekaro. I hesitated before answering. Not really, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. He studied me for a moment. Then, with an easy smile, he said, How about this? I have an extra first-class ticket to Paris. You don't have to let him ruin the city for you. I frowned. You don't even know me. I don't need to, he replied. I just know that nobody deserves to be treated like that. Come with me. For a moment, I hesitated. Flying to Paris alone? Without Emeka? But then I remembered how easily he had discarded me. I straightened my shoulders. Okay, I said. And just like that, my life changed. A new beginning in Paris. Paris was unlike anything I had imagined. Instead of crying in a hotel room over Emeka, I wandered the streets of Montmartre, strolled along the Seine, and discovered the magic of the city, for myself. Ejiro and I became unexpected companions. During his free time, he showed me hidden gems of the city, places beyond the usual tourist spots. He made me laugh, something I hadn't done in a long time. And then, on my last night in Paris, I saw Emeka again. He was at a high-end restaurant, sitting across from her, the same woman from the airport. Their fingers intertwined. Their laughter easy. The moment his eyes met mine, he froze. I stepped forward, feeling an unfamiliar sense of power settle in my chest. He opened his mouth, but I held up a hand. "No," I said firmly. "You don't get to explain. You made your choice, Emeka. And it wasn't me." For the first time in years, I walked away from him without looking back. Ejiro was waiting outside, leaning against a street lamp, watching me with knowing eyes. "You okay?" he asked. I exhaled slowly. And then I smiled. "Yeah. I really am." As we walked through the streets of Paris, I realized something. Emeka had shattered my heart, yes. But Paris? Paris had put me back together. And maybe, just maybe, Ejiro had, too. 1 year later in Lagos. The scent of fresh pastries and coffee filled the air as I sat on the balcony of my new cafe in Ikoyi, overlooking the Lagos Lagoon. Maison Annie, my dream cafe, had finally come to life. I flipped through my journal, rereading the entry from the night everything changed. A year ago, I thought my life had ended in that airport. But in reality, it had just begun. "You're deep in thought again," a familiar voice teased. I looked up as Ejiro pulled out a chair across from me, his pilot's cap resting on the table. He had just returned from a flight, and yet, his presence still made my heart race. "Just thinking about how much has changed," I said, smiling. He reached for my hand, his thumb grazing my fingers. "Paris rewrote your story, Annie," he said, his deep voice laced with warmth. "And Lagos?" "Lagos is where we write the next chapter." I glanced at the small velvet box beside my coffee cup, my heart skipping a beat. 1 year ago, I thought my world had ended. But now, with Emeka by my side, I knew this was only the beginning.